Is the Rendlesham UFO incident UK's biggest military cover-up of an extraterrestrial space alien encounter? Wikipedia says the Rendlesham Forest incident was a series of reported sightings of unexplained lights near Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk, England, and this took place in late December of 1980, which became linked with claims of UFO landings. In late December 1980, there was a series of reported sightings of unexplained lights near Rendlesham Forest, Suffolk, England, which have become linked to the UFO landing claims. The events occurred just outside the Royal Air Force RAF Woodbridge, which was used at the time by the United States Air Force, USAF, and U.S. Air Force personnel, including Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles I. Holt, claimed to see things they described as UFO sightings. The occurrence is most famous of claimed UFO events to have happened in the United Kingdom, ranking among the best-known reported UFO events worldwide. It's been compared to the Roswell UFO incident in the United States and is sometimes referred to as Britain's Roswell. This is according to Channel 5 on YouTube on Bennett Reality. And I'll read the letter for you from Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt to the UK Ministry of Defence. And it's dated January 13, 1981, Department of Air Force Headquarters, 81st Combat Support Group, U.S. Air Force. Subject, unexplained lights, RAFCC. 1. Early in the morning of 27 December 80, approximately 300 hours, 2 U.S. Air Force Security Police patrolmen saw unusual lights outside the back gate at RAF Woodbridge. Thinking an aircraft might have crashed or been forced down, they called for permission to go outside the gate to investigate. The on-duty flight chief responded and allowed 3 patrolmen to proceed on foot. The individuals reported seeing a strange glowing object in the forest. The object was described as being metallic in appearance and triangular in shape, approximately 2 to 3 meters across the base and approximately 2 meters high. It illuminated the entire forest with a white light. The object itself had a pulsing red light on top and banks of blue lights underneath. The object was hovering or on legs. As the patrolman approached the object, it maneuvered through the trees and disappeared. At this time, the animals on a nearby farm went into a frenzy. The object was briefly sighted approximately an hour later near the back gate. 2. The next day, 3 depressions, 1.5 inch deep and 7 inch deep in diameter, were found where the object had been sighted on the ground. The following night, December 29, 1980, the area was checked for radiation. Beta and gamma readings of 0.1 milliroentgens were recorded with peak readings in the 3 depressions and near the center of the triangle formed by the depressions. A nearby tree had moderate 0.05 to 0.07 readings on the side of the tree towards the depressions. 3. Later in the night, a red sun-like light was seen through the trees. It moved about and pulsed. At one point, it appeared to throw off glowing particles and then broke into 5 separate white objects and then disappeared. Immediately thereafter, 3 star-like objects were noticed in the sky, 2 objects in the north and 1 to the south, all of which were about 10 degrees off the horizon. The objects moved rapidly in sharp angular movements and displayed red, green, and blue lights. The objects to the north appeared to be elliptical through an 8 to 12 power lens. They then turned to full circles. The objects to the north remained in the sky for an hour or more. The objects to the south was visible for 2 or 3 hours and beamed down a stream of light from time to time. Numerous individuals, including the undersigned, witnessed the activities in paragraphs 2 and 3. This is by Charles I. Holt, Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Air Force Deputy Base Commander. And this is from what I read for you on Wikipedia. And of course, I'll leave a link below for you for this. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. So, the Rendlesham Forest Incident series of reported sightings of unexplained lights in Suffolk, England, December 1980, and linked with claims of UFO landings at RAF Woodbridge. The occurrence is most famous of claimed UFO events that happened in the United Kingdom. It's almost as best known reported UFO events worldwide. It's been compared to the Roswell UFO incident of the United States, sometimes referred to as Britain's Roswell. The UK Ministry of Defence has stated the event posed no threat to national security, and therefore it was never investigated as a security matter. Skeptics have explained that sightings as a misinterpretation of a series of nocturnal lights, such as fireballs, Orford Ness Lighthouse, and bright stars. Well, how could they be bright stars if they're just off the ground? But anyway, the main events, as we said, were December 26. Halt, in his memo to the UK Minister of Defence, a security patrol near the East Gate saw lights apparently descending into nearby forest, and these lights had been attributed by astronomers to a piece of natural debris seen burning as a fireball over southern England at the time. Servicemen initially thought it was downed aircraft, but upon entering the forest to investigate, they saw, according to Halt's memo, what they described as a glowing object, metallic in appearance with colored lights. December 28, the Deputy Base Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt, visited the site with several servicemen in the early hours of December 28, reported 29, and they took radiation readings, as we said, on the triangular depressions. There was a triangular depression, but there was nothing found. So it was during this investigation that a flashing light was seen across the field to the east, almost in line with a farmhouse, as the witness had seen on the first night. The Orford Ness Lighthouse is visible further to the east in the same line of sight. And later, according to Halt's memo, 3 star-like lights were seen in the sky, 2 in the north, 1 in the south, about 10 degrees above the horizon, and Halt said that the brightness of these hovered for 2 or 3 hours and seemed to beam down a stream of light from time to time. Astronomers have explained these starlight lights as bright stars. Well, okay, if they're beaming white light from time to time, hovering for hours, I mean, obviously something has to be explained here. And we read the memo from Halt to the British Ministry of Defence, known as the Halt Memo. This is from Embedded Reality and Wikipedia. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Now, we know that a lot of UFO sightings have been made around bases in the UK, in the US, in Canada, in Puerto Rico, in China, in France, in Italy, and various other countries.